You're probably looking in the wrong place for the next big tech opportunity. Everyone's chasing Silicon Valley, or maybe China. But while the world focuses on familiar names, something extraordinary is happening quietly, yet rapidly, across a continent that most investors still overlook. Africa. Right now, internet penetration is exploding. In 2000, only 4.5 million Africans had internet access. Today, it's over 600 million. And with the average age under 20, this is the youngest and fastest growing population on Earth. That means a wave of digital natives, millions of people growing up with smartphones in hand, leapfrogging traditional infrastructure, and adopting digital solutions out of pure necessity. And necessity, as every great entrepreneur knows, breeds innovation. In Lagos, Nairobi, Kigali, and Accra, startups are solving problems Silicon Valley never had to face. Take M-Pesa, the mobile payment platform launched in Kenya. It's not just a fintech app. It replaced the need for banks in vast areas where none existed. Today, over 90% of Kenyan adults use mobile money. That's a higher adoption rate than the US has for credit cards. And that's just the start. Venture capital is finally catching up. In 2015, African startups raised $277 million. In 2021, that number hit over $5 billion. Companies like Flutterwave, Chipper Cash, and Andela have raised hundreds of millions and are scaling across borders. Flutterwave, for instance, reached a $3 billion valuation by building payment infrastructure for Africa's fragmented markets, something Stripe or PayPal never had to deal with. What's more, governments are adapting. Rwanda is now a case study in how a tech-forward public policy can turn a once war-torn country into a digital innovation hub. In Ghana, the government digitized its land registry to eliminate fraud. In Nigeria, digital ID systems are finally connecting millions to public and financial services. The infrastructure is also catching up. With new undersea fiber optic cables, better 4G coverage, and the expansion of Starlink across the continent, internet access is about to become faster and cheaper than ever, which means more users, more creators, more coders, and more startups. But here's the part most people miss. Africa isn't copying Silicon Valley. It's building something different. It's creating a new kind of tech ecosystem, one that's deeply local but globally relevant. One that doesn't assume everyone has a bank account, a reliable address, or even electricity. That's where the opportunity lies, in solving hard problems for real people at scale. And some of the smartest minds in investing are taking notice. Legendary venture capitalist Vinod Khosla once said, "Great companies are built solving hard problems. Africa is full of them, which means it's full of potential. The next billion users won't come from New York or Berlin. They'll come from Kampala, from Dakar, from Addis Ababa. And when they do, the companies that are built to serve them will change the global tech landscape forever." But let's talk about what makes this moment different from past hype cycles. Because Africa's potential has been talked about before. So what's changed? 3 things: infrastructure, capital, and talent. First, infrastructure. For decades, Africa's biggest challenge wasn't ideas, it was access. But that's changing at a historic pace. In 2022, Google invested $1 billion to improve connectivity across the continent, including laying subsea cables like Equiano, which dramatically increase bandwidth and reduce internet costs. Meta and Amazon Web Services are also building out data centers and edge locations in key markets. This is not charity, it's a strategic move. With billions of new users coming online, tech giants understand that whoever builds the rails of the digital economy in Africa could own a massive share of the next internet wave. Second, capital. The old narrative was, no one wants to fund African startups. But over the last few years, that has flipped. Global venture funds like Sequoia, SoftBank, and Tiger Global are writing big checks in African tech. In 2021, the number of 100 Mapaplex funding rounds in Africa hit a record. Startups like Wave, Senegal, Opay, Nigeria, and Wasako, Kenya, have scaled faster than anyone imagined. Private equity firms are also entering earlier, betting not just on software but on agri-tech, ed-tech, health tech, industries that blend technology with essential services. Why? Because these markets are huge and massively underpenetrated. A company that figures out last-mile logistics in Nigeria or precision farming in Ethiopia could be worth billions. And then there's the talent. Africa is home to more than 700 coding schools and tech hubs. In Lagos alone, more developers are being trained than in most US states. Platforms like Andela have proven that African developers can compete globally. Today, Andela supplies remote engineers to some of the biggest companies in Silicon Valley. But the most interesting shift? Local founders are staying. In the past, the smartest minds often left, studied abroad, built careers in Europe or the US, and didn't come back. Now that's changing. A new generation of entrepreneurs is building for Africa, from Africa. Think of Paystack, a Nigerian payment startup acquired by Stripe for over $200 million. Its founders didn't copy a US model. They built for local merchants who needed a reliable way to collect money, fast. That kind of thinking, grounded in the real economy, is exactly what drives sustainable innovation. And because so many problems are still unsolved, from transportation to identity verification to digital health, there's room for bold ideas. This isn't just about doing good. It's about doing well by building what's needed, by being early where others are late, and by understanding that a market of 1.4 billion people, mostly young, increasingly urban, and digitally connected, is not a niche. It's the future. And this time, it's not about catching up to the rest of the world. It's about leading it with a different blueprint, one built from the ground up. And here's where it all comes together. Africa isn't just a bet on growth. It's a bet on leapfrog innovation. The idea that when you don't have legacy systems holding you back, you can skip straight to better solutions. Just look at how ride-hailing in Africa didn't start with cars. It started with motorcycles. Or how rural farmers are using blockchain to verify crops and get loans. Or how telemedicine is expanding access to healthcare in places where hospitals are hours away. These aren't gimmicks. They're essential solutions to real problems, and the startups building them are gaining traction fast. There's a reason Jack Dorsey spent months in Africa before stepping down as Twitter CEO. Or why Chamath Palihapitiya has publicly said he's exploring deals on the continent. The smartest capital is no longer just looking at what's happening in San Francisco or Shenzhen. It's looking at Lagos, at Nairobi, at Cape Town, because that's where the next generation of unicorns may be born. And if you're still not convinced, here's the bottom line. Africa is home to the largest untapped tech consumer base in the world. It has the youngest population, rising mobile adoption, increasing digital literacy, improving infrastructure, and a growing wave of local founders solving hard, profitable problems. This is not about charity. It's not about waiting 20 years. It's happening now. So if you're serious about staying ahead of the curve, you can't afford to ignore Africa. This could be the biggest opportunity of the next decade. And those who get in early, whether as investors, builders, or collaborators, will be the ones shaping it. So if you found this video insightful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives on the future of investing and innovation. And let me know in the comments, what do you think is Africa's biggest opportunity? Because one thing's for sure, the next tech boom might not come from where you expect. But if you're paying attention, you'll be ready.